Right. Okay.
Hey, what's going on, RSL Lifestylers? This is take number 2. I know we're about 30 minutes in today, but hey, you know what? Tech problems happen to everybody, and I don't know if Google updated something or something, but every single person on this panel had to reboot their computer. So, don't know what that's all about, but here we are. We're here for you anyway. Tonight, why don't we go ahead and just start over? Tonight, we were talking about focusing on the things that you can control and not worrying about the things that you can't control. So, you know, obviously, we're all in situations where we're all busy. You know, maybe you got to go across town, pick up prescriptions. Hey, look at that. We've got viewers. That's awesome. I'm glad to see that some people stayed on. Thank you so much. I'm going to put in the chat. No, I won't, because the chat doesn't work for me. Julian, could you put in the chat to tell people to refresh the screen?
Yeah. Let's make sure that's going to everyone. Or is that just going to you? That's a group? Okay. Do you see that in the chat you're in there, Joel, that it's going out to everyone?
I don't have a chat.
Oh, you don't have it. Okay. I'll just send to that.
Oh, no. That one on there, that's for us. You got to do it on rslwebinars.com.
All right, give me 1 second here. Let's get there.
Boy, when it rains, it pours, man.
Crazy. From slow internet connections, I mean, wow.
Right?
Okay, wait for the, and it's like intermittent. The feed is fine now. I'm just waiting for the page to kind of load up so I could wait to get the chat section there. But wow.
Yeah, I can't load up the chat myself either.
Crazy. From slow internet connections, I mean, wow. Right. All right, so on the chat on the webinar page, I'm actually getting like a little lag. I'm not seeing the chat box there at all.
Weird. I wonder if there's an issue with Chatwing.
Yep. Something's loading up. It's still something's going on there. Like a big blank right below the video. Okay, here it is. Let's see. 5 minutes ago, Doc said he couldn't hear. Okay, let me see if I can actually something.
Should have just did a Facebook Live.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Come on. All right, let's try this. I can't even get a spot to. I'm logged into the chat, but I'm not even getting a spot to actually enter a message. Enter something. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Raymond. I saw that he said he posted the chat's working fine. He posted the refresh. Awesome. Okay.
Well, the chat's working weird for me, so I'm gonna have to check that out after the webinar. But you know, this is a perfect example of one of those things that you can't control, and you know, why stress about it if it's not something you have control over at the particular exact moment. You got to kind of learn to go with the flow, and that's exactly what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna go with the flow. So it's actually a perfect topic for tonight's really wonky webinar. So you know, in our life, we all get really busy. There's tons of stuff, tons of different projects that we're working on. You know, as much as we all want to work on one project at a time, we all know that that's kind of bull crap. And one of the reasons why, even though I recommend staying as focused on one project as you can, but the reason why it's not really feasible for most people, and myself included, is because a lot of times there are certain, you can only go so far in a particular project before you have something that you need to wait for, Maybe you're waiting for somebody to show up in the mail. Maybe you're waiting for somebody to get back to you on something. Maybe you're waiting for something. When that happens, it's important to set that project down and go work on something that you can control, rather than sitting around and waiting for the next stage of that product. Because what happens a lot of times is when you're waiting for that next stage of that project, you start getting in your head. You start worrying about everything that's going on around you. You know, is this person going to show up in time? Are they going to do what they need to do? You know, all these questions start to feed in. So for me, it's important for me to keep my hands busy, keep myself progressing in other areas of my business and my life, so that I don't sit there and worry on that stuff, because worry is one of the most useless emotions in the world. Obviously, worry is tied to fear, and it's an extension of that fear. But the problem with worry is, for those of you that believe in the law of attraction, is that with worry, you're now you're going to stress yourself out a lot of times for things that haven't happened yet or may not happen, or you're going to stress yourself out so much and focus on this one worry so much so that you're going to end up experiencing that because you put so much focus on it that your whole mind, your whole body, even though you don't want it, your whole mind and body begins to work towards it. So that's why it's important to kind of set that worry aside and go get your hands busy somewhere else. Julian, have you ever experienced a situation where something was outside of your control and you were unable to progress it forward?
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's just part of life. You always run into that. It doesn't matter if it's business, it's personal life. There's always things just come out of nowhere, and you just got to learn how to kind of chill for a little bit. You know, be calm about it, and just again focus on the things that you can. I mean, you know, even coming from an IT perspective, even from tonight, you know, things happen. You know, we just have to deal with it. You got to kind of roll with the punches. But I mean, when things happen, you don't just sit there and just, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't move forward. No, you just gotta keep moving, right? Mm-hmm. If you can't control, you just have to keep on moving. And as I learned that, I mean, obviously, there's been times that that's gotten the best of me, because when you're really trying to get something done, and you have to sit back and you know something, I really got to let that go and just work on this. And then when it frees up, I can kind of go back. So you got kind of redirect your energy type of thing, you know. Perfect example, like for the webinar, I had some crazy stuff at work that came up where the server room was out, systems were down. I had to go in there and work some stuff, wait for the AC guy to do some things to bring that stuff back up. Things, again, you can't control. People getting upset because money's not being made, but you can't control those things, right? So, again, in those situations, it's best to try and be as calm as possible. We know that's not always going to be the case, right? But you just have to try to, you know, be as calm as possible. Do something else. You know, if you got to take a walk for a couple minutes, that's fine. But if you got other things pending, that's a perfect example to kind of segue to that and working then until things free up. They could come back and focus on the initial thing that you're working on. That's kind of how I've been handling it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, you know, I'm getting kind of an echo.
Yeah.
Is that coming from? There we go.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, you know, in like you mentioned, it's a life thing. This happens to everybody. This is not just business owners. This is not just for entrepreneurs or anything. This is literally everybody in every situation. And you guys have been experiencing this since you were kids. You know, you probably experienced it at school. You likely experienced it with friends, with moving. Maybe the truck doesn't show up in time or something like that. You know, what else can you do while you're waiting for the truck to show up? Well, you can move all the crap out to the street, you know, right where the truck is going to park. It's thinking about the little tasks that you can do on the side while you're waiting for the next stage to go. How can you prepare yourself for that next stage? For myself, I found that to be pretty powerful. I was creating a product one time where I couldn't think of the titles for the products. I knew what the product was. I knew who it was for. I knew how to sell it. I knew all this other stuff. But because I couldn't think of the title for a day or two, I was like, well, I can't move forward until I think of the title. And I never did think of that title for the longest time. So instead, I just started creating the product and just started creating everything about it. And I'm like, well, I know it's going to look like this, and I know it's going to have that. And I just started creating everything. Eventually the title came to me right before launch. And that's really all it takes. Sometimes it might be a mental block. Sometimes it might be a physical block, something where it's like, well, it takes 3 to 5 business days, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
It's going to be 3 to 5 business days, and that's that. You just got to have to learn to roll with those punches. Redirect your energy somewhere else, because your energy is going to be there whether it's worried or not. It's your choice what you do with that energy.
So true, man. So true. As you know, from the coaching that I'm doing for my own product myself, there's a spot there where I kind of got stuck in this sales copy type of thing. I just had to go work on different things, like product images to get done, and that kind of then after seeing that getting done, I was able to kind of come back and kind of work forward and keep on working through it. So it's just one of those things, man. It's like it's inevitable. You just cannot escape shit that you cannot control. You cannot escape it. So it's just one of those things. You got to deal with it and deal with it, with the best of your abilities, and just keep moving. Again, that whole redirection of energy thing. If that's the best thing. If it gets the best of you, you just got to take a break, do something else. It's kind of like when you get writer's block, right? And you can't get something done. You just got to stop, do something completely opposite, away from it, and then kind of try and come back and go back to the same thing again. That kind of sometimes helps to kind of move things and free it up a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of how I always deal with those type of situations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that not just as everyone experienced this, but I'm sure everyone's also, my hope is that people have come up with some sort of way to be able to take your mind off of things. But like you mentioned, going for a walk, for me, it is, I try to list out stuff. Like I'll list out every little step of the product, and I'll ask myself, okay, what can I do now that's not this one thing that's, in the way? What other things can I do? In the case of my son's passport, which was a situation that we just went through, we were waiting weeks and actually months for this thing to be approved. And, we kept calling, being proactive as much as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, it's sitting on somebody's desk at a passport agency somewhere, that we can't get a hold of in any way, shape, or form. What can you really do in that scenario? It's going to show up when they want it to show up. That's that. So what can we do in that scenario? Well, one of the things that we were able to do was to go into our local passport agency, talk to our local passport agency, have them go and get in contact with those people that are processing it. That's an example of being proactive about a situation where you have little to no control over. And like you mentioned, Julian, in IT, sometimes, you need to stop looking at the big picture of what's not working and start breaking it down piece by piece. So, and a good example might be, let's say you have an electronic component that's not working. You just have to kind of run through some basic logic testing stuff.
Right.
Okay, is it the power outlet, or does the power outlet work? Is it the plug that goes into the component, or does that piece work? Yeah. You just go one by one. I'm sure you might have some different examples from your own life that might appeal, explain a little bit further for some people.
Yeah, I mean, even just using the IT thing as an example, a lot of times it's just it's very similar to kind of what we have tonight. There's an internet outage or something like that. There's some service that you're paying for that they have an issue, right? So, I mean, it could be internet connection. Say, for instance, I'm on Xfinity here. Yep. They could have some fiber cut. They could have some cable cut somewhere along the line, and you got to get some stuff done, and you can't. There's going to be some cases you're going to have to exercise some level of patience to deal with it. And again, to me, this can't. As long as you don't allow it to get and consume you, then you could, again, always work on something else. That's kind of how I always kind of deal with those type of situations. And again, personal life and business, the same type of thing. I kind of treat them the same way because, again, it's really the same situation, but just in different scenarios. You can't control it. You can't do anything about it. So work with what you can until you have some level of control where you can deal with a certain situation, regardless of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of always been that way. But yeah, I mean, for IT, for me, when the CEOs are upset because money's not being made because things are down, this is a service they're paying thousands of dollars for, but they have issues. A lot of times, for me, communication-wise, it's fiber cuts between offices, and you can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, sometimes you get placed in the what's the word? You get placed at the mercy of some of these services you pay for, and that's why sometimes they'll go nuts and they'll have multiple different carrier type of things. Say, for instance, think of it this way. It could be, if you've got an office building, for instance, it could be you've got communications with Verizon and you've got one maybe with MCI, just to diversify in case something happens here, something else could work there, those type of situations.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I see a lot of it there. But I mean, again, anywhere in life, man, I mean, I have personal things I deal with, and that's kind of, I do the same exact thing. So it's just something, again, like I said, level of patience and redirecting energy, I think, is the best. If you can find different things you could do, again, that'll redirect the energy anyway, and you could deal with that way. That makes it a lot easier. But don't wait till it drives you bananas. You want to be somewhat proactive when you can't control the situation.
Absolutely, guys. A couple other things too that I wanted to bring up is that I'm going to be traveling quite extensively for the next month or so. So I'm going to be going up to Seattle here in a few days. And then I'll be spending a week in Seattle. Then I'm going off to Cancun to the Digital Altitude Retreat to get some insider info, connect with some of the leaders there, and hopefully have a good time. I'm sure I'm going to have a great time out there, and probably take a few more days out there in Cancun. Then I'll be coming back up to Las Vegas for a few weeks, and then I'm headed out to some other places as well. So I bring that up to also let you guys know that Rise Up Mastermind is it's beginning its stages of pre-launch right now. The website's been under development. I'm sure many of you guys have seen the Rise Up Mastermind Facebook group. People are just starting to get active in there right now. So we want to make that group one of the best, most active groups with a lot of information, a lot of stuff going down the pipeline there. So we're going to ask people who are in Digital Altitude to step up there, come be leaders, and we're building our new inner circle right now, an inner circle that is all about Digital Altitude and Rise Up Mastermind as well. So I wanted to make that known to everybody and let you know, hey, there's a lot of opportunity on the table here. DA really takes care of their people. With this Cancun thing, this is an all-inclusive trip. It's absolutely incredible what comes with these higher level packages, guys, at the apex level and things like that. So I highly recommend that you guys do what you can to get positioned there. But we're also going to make sure that with Rise Up Mastermind, you guys have the ability to drive your own traffic. That you guys learn how to do that you guys learn how to do your own capture pages. We're going to make sure that you have the ability to learn how to test your traffic and split test with like tracking and things like that. We want to teach you the skills that are necessary in order for you guys to actually run a real business on the internet. Something past the whole, not just where you get to see the vision, but where you guys get to participate in building it up. So, and Julian's been doing a lot with his team too, bringing in a huge amount of people. So if you guys ever have any questions, I'm a great resource to check out. Julian is a great resource to check out. We've got some new leadership people that we're vetting right now that we're looking to bring here. People that are very experienced in terms of traffic generation, people that are very experienced in terms of this whole internet marketing game. I got one guy that's been in since the 90s. In the internet marketing gig. So guy knows what he's doing. He's made multiple millions of dollars, and he's just kind of, him and me are in negotiations and talks to make sure that DA is the right fit for him and what we can do with Rise Up Mastermind with his expertise. So we got a lot of great stuff coming down. Want to make sure that you guys bring your teams into the Rise Up Mastermind Facebook group. Julian, you've been working on your own products and stuff like that. You've also been crushing it out with DA. How are things going for you and DA?
Everything is going smooth. I mean, for the last couple of weeks, I have been focusing more on my product because I want to get that done, because I want to have that. It's really training based, so it'll cover a lot of things that we'll be covering in Rise of Mastermind from that perspective as well. But it's really training folks how to learn how to do instant marketing, put together squeeze page and that type of thing as well. So I've actually have that to help me to break even on my solo ad buys, so that way I can then drive more traffic and build DA up as much as possible. There's several things I've been testing there. Obviously, traffic-wise, I'm still always testing different methods of traffic. Even with Craigslist, I'm looking at as well, just to see what works. But overall, it's been pretty great. I mean, I can't complain. I want to get it to a different level, so I'm actually working on the background here to get myself positioned at a better level as this thing goes along. So when I really start crushing out with a lot of traffic, I'm positioned, of course, because of that sponsor lock. So you don't want to miss out those commissions. So I want to make sure that's in line. But I mean, overall, guys, you got pretty much everything you need there. The coaching. The coaching to me is the most important thing online. I think, Joel, everyone agrees who's struggled in life for any period of time, that's the real turning point that kind of gets them where they need to go. Yeah. But then at some point, you still want to learn the different methodologies yourself, because really when you learn these different strategies, this is something you could apply to anything online. I mean, it could even be applied to offline businesses, for instance, as far as marketing online in general. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of important things to learn there, a lot of great concepts. That's really, especially if you're brand new, it really expands your mind and give you a better understanding of certain things when it comes to marketing online. But I really enjoy what they have in place. I mean, to me, I've been in other high-ticket products with opportunities before. Some of them I didn't do so well, and some of them I did a lot better in. But this, by far, to me, is like the top of the top. So I'm happy to be here, man. I'm really looking forward to the mastermind group, and I guess going with those other folks coming along, as far as learning more and new interested strategies and how to grow your business. So I think that's going to be very important, very important.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're gonna keep this one kind of short tonight, just because we went through so many tech issues to make sure that we could actually get online with you guys tonight, and wanted to make sure that you guys are progressing and moving forward. I've been seeing a lot of great things happen in the group from Dave Greening and Raymond Knapp. Seeing you guys really take a lot of initiative. Raymond, your writing is awesome. Dave Greening, I love that you're making videos now and that you're driving leads from Instagram. That is absolutely badass, especially when you were telling me 2-3 months ago where you were at, and how to see how far you guys have both come. It's truly inspiring, because you guys are really putting in the effort and making this your passion. And that's what really separates the dabblers from the people who turn this into a real business. So congratulations to both of you guys. You guys are kicking ass, and I love what you're doing. Keep it up. So with that, guys, we're going to call it a night tonight. And, I'm going to do a little bit of masterminding with Julian and make sure that Rise Up Mastermind is absolutely the best team program out there. All right, guys, love you and appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Have a good night, guys. Take it easy.